All right, I know people love to do best of, worst of lists. I'm going to keep it in kind of a high level. Maybe I'll talk about a few that some people haven't talked about. I'm going to try to, I don't want to beat the same drum of some of them, so I'll kind of move quickly through some, but then I'll go through some others maybe you haven't seen. That's kind of the point. Is there something I haven't seen? So, first off, obviously the best of the list is probably going to end up being like the Godzilla and Oppenheimer. That's kind of at the top of the list. So there's really no reason to continue to talk about, throw praise at things that people really did like. I thought Oppenheimer was like a little bit long. I'm definitely going to do a rewatch video for the Oscar thing and kind of get into an actual structured review and conversation about that film because it will come up for the Oscars. But other than that, it's a fine film. It's well executed. Chris Nolan does it again. There you go. Okay. Best of. Okay, nothing deserves as much credit as Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom literally came out of nowhere. I mean, this is an uber micro budget film by Angel Studios. It touched the nerve of people, the zeitgeist, and become a phenomenon that surprised everyone. It really is. It's a very emotionally challenging film dealing with the trafficking crisis across the globe. It told a story that needed to be told, and it's been told before, but they did it in a great way with a great cast, execution. Everything about it was done very well, and it did exceedingly well to box office. So if you have a chance to catch that one, make sure you do. One of my personal favorites, we did talk hard on this film. I can't stop loving this film. That's called SISU. SISU is a foreign film. As Stone Loki said on Talk Hard, this is like Rambo's grandfather that refuses to die. This movie is crazy, gratuitous 90s action and violence. It's about a dude who just found some gold and just wants to get to the bank. He is intercepted by some Nazis who start attacking him, but and then of course they end up killing the dog. So all bets are off, man. You kill a dude and his dog and his horse and everything else. So yeah, great film, great action, great chaos. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Definitely one that I can highly recommend. Air. Air is, I think it's an Amazon Prime only, but it has been available. So Air is the telling of how the Air Nike shoe basically was acquired. How did they actually get to the point of Nike deciding who they were going to invest in, who they're going to do a shoe on, who was the person or people they were going to work on. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, they kind of headlined the cast. This was really, really, really done well. Very off the radar kind of film where you really felt immersed in that era. They did a great job. They also did a great job too of giving you sort of a behind the curtain look at how underrated Jordan was coming into the league and the impact of a shoe was. Like, it was such a big deal with Magic and Converse, even Larry Bird and Converse, but the game changed with Michael. And it obviously comes back to the slam dunk contest, the famous free throw line jump where he's literally flying in the air. So this is let's peek behind the curtain of what that was like. It is comedic enough as a drama. It's comedic enough to make it fun and rewatchable and enjoyable. So I can definitely recommend that one. Okay, probably the most underrated performances as we head into Oscar time, because this will not get any Oscar buzz. I think most critics probably didn't even like this movie. I actually found Sean Patrick Flanery in Nefarious worthy of your time just to see his performance. Now, I have issues with the movie. I have issues with some of the elements of the movie are not as high. This is more of a 3 to 3.5 star movie. This is not like in the 4 or 5 top. This is not the top tier. But his performance is really, really good. The idea that you have this prisoner on death row talking about being possessed and this is he in his right mind or not? And what does possession mean? What would it be like to talk to a demon? What kind of this mental mind game nonsense? It all hinges entirely on an actor who is famous for Boondock Saints. I'm just saying, how can I not recommend the movie? It's the performance warrants to at least consider that it's a decent film, and I think that's what it is. It's a decent film. It's a strong film for that regard. This performance, I think, is great. Tetris. Tetris is another one of these movies where I didn't give it much thought. There's another film called Blackberry. I did not enjoy Blackberry nearly as much as I enjoyed Tetris. Tetris has to do with almost like this subplot of the way the Soviet Union handled everything, and obviously the creator of Tetris being a Soviet citizen means the government's involved, and the cat and mouse stuff of figuring all that out. I had no frame of reference for this film, and I had a great time with it. I really, really did. I found it to be way more enjoyable than I expected. Very, very solid. I don't think this is going to be in the Oscar category too, but this would be one that I could see, like this and Air. I think could be on the edge of getting. They could show up in a few spots, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I thought they just did a great job of executing all the things they needed to immerse you into that world, that time frame that you needed to be in, especially in 1985. So great stuff, great stuff. Really enjoyed that one. That's another one you kind of put on your radar screen. I think that was Apple TV though, so you would have to get over to find a way to get to that as well. All right, it's only fitting that we shift gears to the sort of like the worst of the worst movies. I'm going to tell you right now. I think the worst movie of the year for me is probably the Black Demon Shark movie, which I hope that none of you actually sat through. That movie was a complete abomination. I hated this movie from like nearly start to finish. Like right out of the gate, I was like, this is going to be dog crap, isn't it? It's going to be way worse than I thought it was. Like I just thought we were getting like The Meg, and maybe with like a little bit of no. This movie did not know what it wanted to do. It tried to do two or three different things, and it ended up doing nothing well. The Marvels has to be on my list. Marvels is fortunately it's not as bad as, let's say, sitting through the Eternals or even Captain Marvel again, because it's only 90 minutes of suffering. It was horrible. It makes no sense whatsoever. If you're making a Marvel movie in 2023 and you're ripping off Spaceballs for a key plot element, you're doing something wrong. If you're making a movie where none of these jokes are landing, you've done something radically wrong. There's no one along the way. There's no one along the way that raised their hand and said this isn't good. Shame on you. You deserve to lose even more money. Yeah, that would be on my list. Cocaine Bear. I know. I was supposed to have a good time watching Cocaine Bear. I got it. Cocaine Shark, Cocaine Bear. Everything was ruined in the trailer. Everything. Like every gag, I knew what the gag was. Like even like Ray Liotta, the ambulance sequences, all the things that are supposed to be silly and fun and dumb and whatever, and it was all just done for me. Done. Done. It's very much how I felt like with Lady Ballers. It was like everything was ruined. I'm not enjoying this movie at all. So yeah. I'm telling you, man, 2 stars is generous. 2 out of 5 is generous on that movie. I'm kind with 2 stars. I am. And then I think it leaves me with see, I hated Barbie more than I hated Flash, but that's because people thought Barbie was smart. So that's my problem. Flash and Barbie, Flash and Barbie, Flash and Barbie. It's like Flash was unbearable with two Barrys, two Ezra Millers. Like it just was forever, ever. And then the stupidity at the end with Batman just trying to take on a Kryptonian without any strategy, and just there's so many stupidity, but at the same time, it just was what it was. It was pretty much kind of in line with what I expected. But with Barbie, we're told that all of these metaphors and all these things are there, and I'm like, are we supposed to believe she's playing 4D chess? Because she's not even saying she's playing 4D chess. She thinks she's doing this. You guys are trying to say, oh no, it's this, it's satire. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing something that was so on the nose it was repulsively bad. And I mean repulsively bad meaning not even what you think it's saying, it's not saying any of that well. That's how bad of a movie I thought Barbie was. So, yeah. So that's my top and bottom for the most part. I think that this year is a year that suffered greatly from good movies that were allowed to be way too long. So, for instance, the John Wick 4, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Spider-Verse, Let's see what else kind of fits into that category. Um, yeah, those are the movies that are just, they were way too long, and they would be so much better if we trimmed 15 to 30 minutes out. And again, that's not like, oh, by the, just they needed to be cleaned up. There's whole sequences we didn't even need. Um, Super Mario Brothers is probably the biggest sleeper of the movie, where it's not a great movie, but it's probably one of the most rewatchable movies. It's like a fun movie that you can enjoy rewatching. Renfield is in that same category, where it's a fun movie. It doesn't have to be a great movie. It doesn't really have to be that good. It can just be fun. And I had that kind of fun with Renfield, in large part because Nick Cage is completely insane, and that movie is completely insane. So if you're into that kind of thing, I think those kind of fit that category. At the same time, there's other movies like Quantum Mania is like almost not a movie. Like it's just this weird, everything is going to be done in the volume CGI thing with a whole bunch of just nonsensical dialogue and social commentary that doesn't fit. And Ant-Man beats Kang, but Kang is the big bad. Like, I just feel like I wake up and I'm in a world where I just have a few nice things. And reality is I have to go over to Apple and find one. And then I have to go over to Amazon and I have to, find one. I got to go to the foreign film and I got to find one. Oh, there's Godzilla, there's two. I have to wait for Christopher Nolan to get around to doing a film, so there's one. I have to wait for an independent film that came out of nowhere, like Sound of Freedom or even Nefarious, right? So it's like the world is just so upside down to where it was. It's still a little hard to get your head around. That's kind of where I'm at on 2023. So anyway, I don't know if you enjoy my list or not, or you have your own things you want to add or subtract off my list. Love to hear from you. Take care, everybody. Look forward to a new year. I am Pops.
Mom, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, only this time, it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy.
No, 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 no.
These days will repay you, will slay you.